The Six Nations is something else. Week on week, you just never quite know what's going to happen. And Italy getting up against England for the first time ever was wonderful, unless you're English.
Just with where Northern Hemisphere is at the moment, like I know we've got the Rugby Championship, which is great. It's got its own theatre, but man, just seeing the growth of Italy this year. We talked around the consistency, and Jipper was wanting it from them this year, this game against England. And look, you look at that and you look at the Scottish, that 60 minutes they put on was unbelievable against the French. But then they do what Scotland does and they piss you off because then you think, well, they should have won by a bonus point and they should have their own ability to be able to have it in their own hands. But yeah, I just think Italy, such a big win for them, being able to get their first win against England, I believe, in the Six Nations. So a lot of theatre, and there's one more week to go, Ross, and it's all to play for Scotland, Ireland and France. So yeah, I think it's been a great competition. There's one more week to go, and probably can't wait to go a little bit deeper around how the results went as well. But Jipper, you would have enjoyed it as well?
It was an ugly game, if I'm honest. It was terrible. Like statistically, neither side shone. Like Italy had 5% dominant carry, 22% lightning quick ball. So but they just had these moments. One, they kicked their points, but they just had these one or two moments, and I suppose the last try was the biggest. But I didn't see this coming. England's defence, I don't know what's happened. They just can't tackle one-on-one anymore. It's through the midfield again, like just a hard line, not really, like there weren't other bodies in motion, and it just waltzed straight through. Courageous line, but still just got through with ease. So it was actually quite funny. My sister-in-law was, when I talked up English after the Welsh game, she was telling me how that's not true. They're average. And I was like, oh, hold on a minute. So I rattled off a few stats, and I was like, oh, I'm the one on a rugby podcast, not you.
Oh, bring her on.
Anyway, I think she should be on it because she texted this morning, and I hadn't watched the game yet, and she goes, Steve Borthwaite's updated LinkedIn profile says looking for work. And I was like, oh God, Italy must have won. So yes, my analytical side of England is, there's something not right in that camp. I think defence shows a lot about a culture and connection and care, and they've just fallen off the radar. And it just doesn't look like their defensive system.
And then you end up with silly things like a Itoje reaching over the top so openly like that, Bryn, and it's just head-shaking stuff.
That's a big depth. And I think I think all the coaches are saying that's a depth especially from your captain, to be able to do that. Because I think because from there, that's when Italy got their momentum. I think, England weren't playing pretty, both teams weren't playing pretty, kind of what Jipper touched on, but they found a way. We talked around, I think, in previous years, Italy in situations haven't been able to get the job done, whether that's through a goal kick, been able to hold on to the ball and offload at the wrong time. They were able to just find a way. And, they almost did lose it at the end. I think the fact that their captain isn't able to get that turnover to win the game. But a great moment for Italy, being able to get a win and being able to probably have their most successful Six Nations to date, going in with one more game, which, they'll probably back themselves whoever they do play against.
They've got to beat Wales. So Italy have got 2 wins and come fourth twice in 2007 and 2013. They beat Wales, they get 3 wins, and it makes it their best ever Six Nations.
Do Wales now believe in themselves? Like they sort of have gone the opposite direction.
Not on attack though.
No, but
they're doing nothing on attack.
No, but they look like they've got a little bit more belief. Like I thought Ireland would just wipe the floor of them.
They definitely fought, didn't they?
I mean, when their loose head prop is their best attacking weapon, it's not a great sign. But man, he's athletic.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a try.
Well, both teams had 8 entries, both Ireland and Wales come out with nothing. Like they just don't have anything there.
No. And look, you can tell, Ireland tackled at 95%. There's not a lot of deception when you're tackling at those numbers. It's pretty one-off runners. I'm just saying they look a hell of a lot better than when they played England.
Yeah.
And if Italy play like they did against England, it could be a tight contest. Like Italy didn't play that well.
No.
They won. That sometimes blurs the. But I'm not, as you can see, I'm not emotionally connected to these teams, so I haven't got my rose-tinted glasses on.
Yeah, the Scottish fans be going, why on earth are you talking about all these other chumps when we scored 50 against France?
Well, because you let them score 40.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That bonus point's going to cost them. You know, like, I suppose the French could lose, but man, that was just, Murrayfield was just rocking, wasn't it? At 40 odd
It's
to
just-
12, it was, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's Scotland being Scotland, isn't it? Like, you're just so happy. Like, look, that 40-14, that after Graham's try, I'm like, well, this is going to be a win. And you're thinking, I'm not even thinking that the bonus point really is an option with how the French were playing and how much possession and territory the Scottish have. But I sit back thinking, I should be having a cup of tea here in Japan, thinking that Scotland are going to win the Six Nations. But I sit back and thinking, like, this is just what Scotland do. And they won, and they scored 50 points against the French.
I called it. Thank you.
You did.
You did. I did. I knew that.
Tell your sister-in-law that.
Yeah. Get that up, yeah. But I want to mention Whiteburn. I just thought he would, yes, they were great, but man, how quick he kept the ball up. It was like, you just couldn't, man, the defence just couldn't get set. And I suppose those blind runners, the Scots used them extremely well.
Or the Stain try.
Oh, that was just outstanding. It was just so good to watch. Afternoon footy. Oh, I'm into the Six Nations. This is seriously good.
It is good stuff.
But from an analytical point of view, if they let Ireland, from what we've seen when Ireland gets gain line, France still had 73% gain line. They didn't convert their opportunities. But if they let Ireland have that, it's good night nurse in Ireland, in Dublin. They won't even be in the contest. So bring the attacking flair and their speed and the up tempo, but they have to front up and meet Ireland at the gain line at least, defensively.
I'd love to know like how fit Ben White is on his Bronco, because like the way that they do play, like he's got to be there. They're going. It's not just like they're playing pods off 9. They're getting some good width from Russell, long passes to Tuipulotu in the phase play shape, and even in their line-out strikes or scrum strikes. Like he was outstanding with that quick tempo, and that starts with the forwards, get over the advantage line, especially when they're able to score those points in the first 60 minutes. Take away, the 10 minutes that the French were able to score in that first half. It was pretty much an onslaught of what that Scottish attack, what we've known and loved, and what we've talked on and raved on with the Scottish team. But I also think his kicking game, when the game was nice and tight and they were able to have moments, he was really good in and around that. So I think even the telecast, they were talking about of how well he was playing and even some defensive efforts that he was able to have. So yeah, he was outstanding for them. And yeah, I just sit here frustrated because they should be in the box seat considering how well they played. And we didn't even hear DuPont's name saying something.
They had 12 entries to 9. It's not like they weren't at the right end of the field.
No, they just, and most of those were when the game was gone. Scotland only gave away 4 penalties. Like defensively, that's going to be their biggest thing. Like attack, we can see they can score points, but mate, they've got to push the boundaries. They've got to slow some pill down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be too hard against Ireland. Ireland gets quick ball. Oof.
Do you think they'll run out of puff, considering they had to have their emotional win over England? They knew they had to beat France, and now they've got to have a big one against Ireland. Do you think they can go 3 from 3 with the emotional intensity that you kind of need?
No, I don't. I don't think they're not good away from home. No, to tell you the truth. I feel like it's great in theory, but Ireland were awful against Wales, so we know that they're going to bounce back. It's a hard one. Mate, if it was at Murrayfield in the afternoon, Scotland win.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah. You loved them last week.
Mate, that was my theory, though.
That was, yeah.
I said last week, even when they go, if it comes down to them versus Ireland, I don't think they can do it.
Darcy Graham, though, Brenner, here's a guy, he's closing in on 40 test tries, and we talk about a lot of wingers. We talk about Cheslin Colby, and we talk about Kurtley Aronson, and we talk about Bielbieri, we talk about all these people, Will Jordan or whoever. This guy consistently scores tries, deceives defenders, runs good lines. Should we be talking more about him?
I think he's one of the most underrated wingers, Ross. It's probably those tries have just crept up, and you've got to be able to have consistency in being selected to be able to do that. Van der Merwe, obviously plays on the opposite side of the wing, but even he's not even getting selected, which has been a lot of talk, I guess, in Scottish media around that. But his ability to be able to be one-on-one, I think even if you look at Jorgensen's try against when he beat Cam Roygard, very similar. Very good in and around short steps, being able to get through people, around people, big enough where he's able to get over the advantage line. He chases like an absolute demon when it comes to the high balls, like what we saw with Ben White. So Yeah, look, mate, definitely in those conversations, and he's just been doing it consistently, I think, for a long period of time. And I guess the Six Nations, when they've needed him, he's had some really big influential plays for that Scottish team as well. Blair Kinghorn was a big part for them as well. I think his ability with ball in hand, his ability to be able to offload the ball, his defensive efforts, how big he is. And I know Jordan came on and actually played really well, even though it wasn't at fullback. I think his selection and what he was able to bring for that Scottish team as well was married up really nicely with that back, with those backs in the Scottish team.
Very strong performance. I still think Bielberry, he had about 4 try assists. Like he as an individual had a ridiculously good game.
Yeah.
But yes, Graham is, for all the reason Bryn said, he is very underrated.
And Pinot's fallen off the face of the earth. Like, I used to love watching him play. He's now not even really considered. He's
French. They're just like,
it happens. It happens.
It'll come back.
It happens. Yeah, right. So,
Sorry, Scottish fans.
Brenner, are you the same?
Yeah, I want to go Scotland, but they'll just win, and the French will get a bonus point, and they'll win it by 1 point.
The Scottish haven't won the tournament since it was the Five Nations in 1999. So since Italy arrived, they haven't won the tournament. It's been a long time coming.
It would be so good to see them win it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them win it. I just don't think they can.
No. Right. Wales. Can Wales get up against Italy?
Surely not. I've got to give. I did say, look, if they do another result, I might get on the bandwagon. So I'll go Italy.
You go Italy.
They were awful as well, though.
In this tournament, Brenner, and when you never know what's going to happen, will Wales get up for the very last game?
We just can't talk about how we think, this is a big part of where Italy rugby's going, and for not to get a result against Wales. So I think they'll clean things up. I think they'll get back to more of their dominance around the breakdown, especially the defensive side, being able to see the numbers that we have seen them throughout the duration of the competition. And yeah, I just think Wales don't have a lot on attack other than pressure cycles, and whether there's a high turnover rate or high penalties from Italy. I just think they've got too much on both sides of the ball. So yeah, I'll be picking Italy to beat Wales and have their best results in the Six Nations.
France against England, Brenner.
Yeah, France. I think they dominate England. Yeah, I think there's just too many things that the English at the moment, whether it's through ill discipline, daps that Jipper likes to say, and just their defensive woes. Their defensive woes that they've had throughout the duration of this competition, it'll be way too much. The French will see the best of Antoine Dupont, and we will see a much more clinical and a pretty convincing one for the French to win the Six Nations.
French at home. It's like that's how their club rugby goes. Top 14. Your home games, that's all they care about.
Yeah.
Road trips,
but
take it or leave it.
It's a cup game every time you're at home.
Yeah. It's literally do or die if it's at home, and I just do not see them playing like that again.
Well, it's going to be
And
interesting.
England are awful at the moment. She's not been ruthless.